Welcome back to another episode of the Level Up Podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Miller. I run a real estate team here in Blaine. Cleverly named the Tyler Miller team. Just really creative.
It's clever.
It's almost as creative as the pro team. But speaking of the pro team, I am super excited today to be joined by the one and only Ryan Fischer of Remax Results, right? Pro
Correct.
Team. Correct.
You got it. You nailed it.
Captain Home Finder, as we call him, or as he says too. But for those of you who've never listened or watched this show, just know that the reason I started this show was to help try to raise the bar in the real estate industry. I'm sure Ryan can relate, but the bar isn't that high in our industry. There's a lot of people that don't quite really know what they're doing. They struggle to have a consistent business. And, I just think if I was in that situation when I first started or any time, it's like, I wish I had somebody to turn to, some resources to turn to listen and maybe level up my game. So that's the whole premise behind it. I meet with some top agents throughout the Twin Cities. And today, we're joined by one of the best in our area, and that is Ryan Fischer. I would say, I'm guessing, and correct me if I'm wrong, top 10 team in production in the Twin Cities on average, usually.
Right, pretty close.
Yeah. Which is, incredible. It's not an easy feat. I think the term top 10 gets thrown around a lot, but there's thousands and thousands of agents in our area. It's a very competitive market in the Twin Cities. I think that's one thing people from other areas don't understand. Very competitive. To be in the top 10 is no easy feat. So kudos to you.
Thank you.
Crushing it, man.
Appreciate it.
But before we start, for those of you who have never met Mr. Ryan Fischer, I always like to kind of start by things I think of when I think of Ryan Fischer. First and foremost, it has to be the thumbs up.
Thumbs up. Every
has to,
photos.
Dude.
Photo bombs.
Photo bombs. It's just his thing. It's basically the Lindahl arms out.
Yeah.
Yours is the thumbs up. Yeah. You know what I mean?
That yellow thumb on your iPhone, they made that for me.
Yeah, it is.
That was before it was a thing. I was just doing it personally with photos.
Yeah. So that's definitely number one. Thumbs up in every photo. And along with a cheesy smile, but it's it's your thing.
Yeah.
It's kind of that's what I like to do too. So you don't take yourself too seriously. I love it. Also, we were just talking about Chipotle before we jumped on here. That always comes to mind. I'm sure it has happened before I saw it from you, but saying, hey, free Chipotle. I think it was come to my open house or something like that, right?
Yeah.
And you still do that, I think.
Show up, get a gift card to Chipotle.
Yeah.
Sometimes they actually have Chipotle there.
Yeah.
Whatever.
But I think at Chipotle, didn't you have it on some signs at one point?
Oh yeah, I had some I call them burrito selfies. If you take a selfie in front of one of my for sale signs, and you post it on social media, you get back in the day it was a $10 gift card, but inflation hit.
Yep.
So now it's a $20 gift card.
Yep. Got to keep up with the times, man.
Yeah, but it gives a little extra social media wow factor.
Yeah. No, I love it. So Chipotle for sure. Captain Home Finder, that's kind of your nickname, right? In the biz.
Yeah.
Where did that come from?
I was looking for some kind of mascot back in the day when I was doing some magazine ads.
Yeah.
Back with some news companies when I was first starting. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I need some kind of character name or something.
Yeah.
What, not Pro Home Finder, not whatever. Captain Home Finder popped up and went with it.
Yeah. This is before ChatGPT. You had to think of this all on your own.
Yeah, I didn't even have a machine think of it for me.
Holy shit.
This was probably 11 years ago.
Yeah.
So
no, it's because how long have you been in the industry now?
11 years.
11 years. So about the same as me.
Right about.
And yeah, that's the other part I wanted to get into, but we'll come back to that. The other thing, pro team.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're the team leader of the pro team.
Yeah.
Which is how many people now?
Probably 22-ish people.
Yep, 22 people
every week.
I know, right?
People are coming and going.
That's what that people always ask me, how many people? I'm like, it depends on the day, but
Yeah, we'll lose one week. The next week somebody else will join, and high turnover in any business, but
for sure, yeah, especially running a team.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think of that. I think of Lake Minnetonka.
Yeah.
You live on the lake.
Yeah.
Just loving life. And
we love
wakeboarding, is that what it's called?
Wake surfing.
Wake surfing. God, I screwed this up. I know. I talked to somebody else about this too, and they're like, it's wake surfing.
Yeah, I mess it up still too. I'm pretty new at it.
Yeah.
But I can barely do it. But I love watching.
Yeah.
And I try.
Yeah.
You know, I look like an 8-year-old
Yeah.
on the surfboard. I'm like shaking knees and whatever, plopping off the back.
But you're doing it, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're doing it. That's
all part of it.
That's
try.
That's what this whole thing's about. Just trying.
Life is all about just trying things.
We both have awesome wives named Ashley.
Yes. That's really cool. That's commonality. Cool. Yeah.
Yep. I do, for whatever reason, I always remember your wife's nickname that you give her, Lobster.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't know the backstory in that, but you talk about it often, so I do remember
it's like that Friends episode where she's like, she's your lobster or whatever, and they're walking down the beach like with their claws and claws.
Yeah.
You know.
Is this Phoebe that's explaining this?
Phoebe.
Yeah.
That sounds of course like a Phoebe it is. Thing. Yeah.
Okay, well that's good. Now we know where
now
it came
you know
from.
The lobsters.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and just I think, well, I will say, I also think not every time. That would be really petty. Not every time, but a lot. I'll be like, fucking Ryan Fischer. God, he stole a client from me like 10 years ago.
Oh, no.
Probably don't.
I don't.
It's not like you stole it from me. It just, I know that they went with
you. Do you remember the name?
I do. It was Garrett Doobie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I just talked to him today.
I'm sure you did.
Yeah, I did.
Yes. Yeah. Tell him I say hi.
I did. I will.
We weren't even that good of friends. He was more friends with my sister-in-law.
Okay.
Yeah. And I was like referred to him and his girlfriend at the time. Yeah. And I don't know if they're still together, but I can't remember her name.
Alyssa.
Yes. Yeah. But anyways, they had like I think a house to buy, or I can't remember. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I was going to work with them, and then they're like, yeah, I'm going with Ryan Fischer. And at the time,
did not know that.
You weren't really that well known yet.
Yeah.
You know, you were, and neither was I. We were just kind of building.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm like, whatever, dude. Like,
that's
that guy
funny.
sucks.
That's
and now, look at you, just crushing it.
Oh, you feel free to steal anybody you want.
Yeah,
back
so,
and forth.
You know,
it's okay.
Garrett, I'm still hurt.
Yeah.
And just next time you move, just make sure you call your boy. Yeah. You owe me one. No, I'm just kidding.
Better reach out to him soon.
Yeah. He's moving. Damn it. I lost again. Yeah. No, but I always remember that because I'm just like, because honestly, like early on, I didn't lose very often.
Yeah.
I think that was one of the first ones where I'm like, oh, what the hell? I thought people just wanted to work with me. You know what I mean?
Damn it.
Yeah. It was, but it was.
Damn that Ryan Fischer.
Yeah. Damn it, Ryan Fischer.
I'm going to get it back someday.
Stupid thumbs up. I'll give him a fucking finger.
Just about snorted on the mic. Would have been bad.
But I say that because the last thing that comes to mind for me when I think of you is just like, you know, I'm still getting to know you. I think we've connected more in the last few years than we have in the previous 10.
Yeah, for sure.
But like as I get to know you, you're just an overall good dude. Like funny.
Appreciate it.
Don't take yourself too seriously. And like I think just from afar you're always just like, oh, that guy, he's successful. He's kind of a douche because he, whatever. Like you're just in this industry. You're just, you don't know.
You don't know people.
We all have our personas. We all have our branding. We all have our whatever. And then you hear things around the industry about everybody, and you just don't know what to believe.
Yeah.
Right. And sometimes you meet somebody and it's underwhelming, and you're like, okay, I'm not really vibing.
Yeah.
And then you meet someone like yourself, and I'm like, we're like the same dude.
Yeah.
We really are.
We're just separated from Blaine to Excelsior.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Different.
Your neighbors have private jets. My neighbors have boats with an electric motor. It's
I'm
different.
the poor guy on the block.
Yeah.
You're not.
Yeah. So, but no, that's the last thing I would say is just in my time getting to know you better, you're a good guy, obviously cares about his family.
Appreciate it.
And like just funny, don't take yourself too seriously, which is important.
Life is fun.
Yeah.
You know, like, I mean, everything should be fun.
Yeah.
You know, what's worth getting stressed out over?
Right.
You know, I see that all the time. People are stressing over their business. And whatever. And they're like, I'm like, chill out.
Put in the work.
Have some fun.
Which is the last thing. No, I said that was the last thing. But the other thing I thought of before this was when I say put in the work, a lot of team leaders, they build a team and then they like don't work as hard. You yourself are still out there doing open houses on like holiday weekends and stuff like that. You are personally selling over 100 homes a year yourself. Like that drive, that work ethic is not very common in our industry alone, especially with team leaders.
Very true.
So I will say that about you too.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
But yeah, you did steal Garrett Doobie from me. So
yeah.
I
won't do it again. I won't steal him again.
Hey, any client you work with, just be like, do you know Tyler? And if they say yes, back off. Okay?
Then I'll go the other way. Be like, you better call him. Like, I can't help you.
Yeah. But anyways, enough about what I think. I would love to have you explain a little bit more about yourself, a little bit about your business, maybe like where you grew up, your primary area of business. You already mentioned you've been in the business for like 12 years, but just, your team makeup, anything else you want to share so that listeners can know who they're getting advice from today.
Got it. Originally from Wisconsin, so there's that going against me for anybody out there.
Stacking up.
Yeah,
Strike two.
Terrible. Strike two for sure. Neenah, Wisconsin, small town. Moved to UW-Madison for undergrad. Moved up here for grad school to get my doctorate in chiropractic. So I used to be a chiropractor. Still have my license, so if you need a good...
I was just at one. I just got it done today.
Yeah, see?
Dude,
right here.
You guys are...
You could have gotten...
I could have got it for free.
Popped. Yeah.
Next time we're at like a party together, I will let you just, get a little, we'll just have some fun.
Still licensed, still got that magic, what, barely can do it, but, no, I only keep my license active because I've got one client. She's my most important client, my wife. So she's still like begs me to treat her upper back because her back hurts all the time. And I'm like, okay, let's keep this going. So I moved up here for grad school, practiced real chiropractic for about, I want to say 7 years ish, something like that, and didn't see it as being my future, and started remodeling homes. And so about 13 years ago, started remodeling homes and doing the work myself.
So you would buy the home like as an investment?
Bought like condos,
okay,
and then I would gut them and move into them.
Yeah,
and then house hack. Live there for 2 years, sell them.
Yeah,
start working on my next project.
Yep.
I'd have 2 or 3 going at the same time.
Nice.
And just like first one, added a couple walls. Second one, tiled bathrooms, did countertops.
Yep.
Third one, some cabinets and more robust. Every time it just kept getting bigger, bigger and more intense. And then I started bringing in more people to help me.
Yeah.
But I mean, my first couple of years, I probably did 5.
Wow.
So quite a few for a couple of years.
Yeah.
Then I was like, I need to get my real estate license. My realtor is not moving fast enough to help me. Like, and they're small, like $70,000 condos. So what realtor is jumping out of bed to show them?
Right.
Like, oh, Ryan's looking at the $70,000.
Yep.
Like, no. Like, so I just thought it would be easier to just get my license. And then a bunch of friends started calling me to help them with showing homes when I got my license. So, so it kind of worked out that way.
Yeah, you just had a good network.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Just the chiropractic network kind of converted over to the real estate network. And then they liked that I had remodeled some homes. So I could give them advice on call these guys for countertops, call these guys for tiled floors, kind of put the pieces together for them.
Yep.
Helps with their investment properties, stuff like that.
And
at the time, it was, great time to buy investment properties. There was, they were giving away stuff.
Yeah.
They're like, you want this property? It's free. Just take it.
Yeah. Because that was what, like?
I was like 11.
Yeah.
Like 9 when I started remodeling.
Yep.
Like 10, 11 when I started getting into it more and started creating some Facebook posts and stuff about it. And then 2011 is when I got, or what was it? 2000. Oh God, what was it? 13. I started getting in the real estate license training and stuff like that.
Did you go to Kaplan?
Yep.
Did you do the in-person?
Did I go there? No.
You didn't?
Online.
You did online?
I was still working full time, so I was like nights and weekends.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Turn it on, watch some TV, and listen to it.
Yep.
Yeah, it worked good. Did you go in person?
I did, but I got mine back in like 06.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're like pre-crash.
Yeah. So I don't think they had an online version at that time.
I think I was like one of the first ones when I did it.
Yeah.
It was bad. It was really bad.
They're still not that good.
No. I mean, I remember reading it, and then they had a couple of things to click, and that was it. Like, there was no animations, no videos.
Back then, you could probably cheat the system a little bit easier, too.
You could.
Where now they, like, cap how much time you can let run in a day, and I'm like, I want to keep going.
Yeah.
Let me just...
I'll click through all the slides, and then go to the quiz, and then go back through the slides and find the answers.
Yeah.
So I was, like, basically Googling all the answers.
For sure.
Yeah, but...
You and I both know, just like everybody, those classes don't really teach you how to be a realtor.
No.
You know what I mean? You gotta get with the right people that will show you how to do it.
Yeah, they just teach you how to
pass a test.
Yeah, pass a test, know the laws, I mean, the biggest thing is just don't mess up.
Yeah.
You know, like you don't want to come out and like be in trouble with the, you know, Department of Commerce day 2 or something, you know. So just
Did you pass the first time?
Yeah.
Yeah, it took me 3 times.
Nice. Props.
Yeah.
Garrett, you're in good hands.
Yeah, Garrett, you made the right choice, buddy. Wow.
Came over at the right time. I think this is going to keep coming back.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Forever now. I've never told him. I just thought I'd tell him today on the podcast that he stole a guy from me.
Oh, too
He probably knows more he took from me, but I just don't know it.
That's it. I think I've got one other one in hand.
Yeah.
But I know a lot of people have stolen from me.
Oh, yeah, it happens.
Just like you just kind of accept it in this world.
It happens.
And if you
get big enough, I mean, if you sell enough houses, it's bound to happen, right?
Yeah.
So
not everybody's houses sell, and then they call somebody else the second time around, and it's tricky. I mean, that's part of it, and you don't. If you get bent out of shape every time, you know, then you don't have as much fun in life.
No.
And, you know, it's all about making this business as fun as possible.
Right. So, okay, so you got into the industry, you started, so you got into it because you were flipping some homes.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got your license, people started reaching out to you, got busy pretty quickly, right?
Yeah.
When did you kind of know that this was going to really work? Was it right away, or did you?
First year, I sold 18 homes. And I was
Nice.
like, okay, I made more money doing this than I did as a chiropractor.
Yep.
And I was like, I think I'm onto something.
Yeah.
And I merged that, you know, and then I did some flipping at the same time.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that with flipping, pretty good business.
Yeah,
I think
saving the money on the commissions there and stuff too.
It worked out really good. So, and then year 2, I sold 53 homes.
Wow.
And that was just me, you know, just no leads, just marketing.
Yep.
Doing everything I could to get my name out there and networking like crazy,
Mm-hmm.
BNI groups, all that good stuff, and door flyers. I did a ton. I used to hire people to run door flyers around town.
Yeah, just hang them up.
Yeah, like soccer teams.
Yeah,
they're like fundraising for their jerseys. I'm like, hey, just flyer this whole neighborhood. Here's some flyers, boxes of them.
Yeah,
and it was pretty cool. So
it's amazing.
I'd be giving back to the community, supporting teams at the same time as they're supporting my business. Pretty cool.
You know, I think it's funny you say no leads, because leads it wasn't really a thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I mean, yeah, they were out there. Zillow was a thing, whatever. But it just, for me, it was the same thing. Like, just, I think a lot of people nowadays get hung up on, I need leads or like whatever. And it's like the people out there that have a really good business that you talk to and they like were successful right away and they've been just grinding. It's like most of them don't buy leads. They're just networking. They attract people, right?
Yeah.
And I think sometimes, in my opinion, leads actually will hurt people because they don't know how to go and hunt.
Yeah.
They're waiting for something to come to them all the time, you know?
Yeah, that's probably the number one thing that I think kills an agent's business. If you were to ask me, like, what will destroy your business overnight is if you take too many leads.
Yeah.
And you can't
become too dependent on it.
You got to be able to convert those leads into referrals.
Yeah.
That's like number one takeaway. If you're going to crush it in real estate, you got to take every lead and convert it into more leads.
Yeah.
To convert it into a referral network for your business.
Yep.
People just don't do that.
I agree 100%. In regards to that, what would you say is like a really good way to do that? Like, what's something that you would give advice to anybody listening? Like, all right, you get a closing or you get a buyer, let's say. What are the couple of things you do to leverage that for referrals?
I mean, number one thing is make sure they're learning a lot about the houses when they're going through them. Mm-hmm. So with buyers especially, if you're working with a buyer, make sure you're educating them on every nuance of the house. Yeah. And it comes from that first house you go through. You got to set the scene. Mm-hmm. And you go through that house and you're looking at the windows, talking, are they double pane, single pane, storms on the outside, no storms. Are they old? Is it an old house? Is it a new house, new windows? Talking about the age of the furnace, age of the mechanicals, water heater, all that stuff. Right. And talking about, looking at the electric panel, is there room for expansion if you're talking about doing an addition or trying to upgrade the home? Do you need to replace that panel? So it's really educating them that first showing. Yeah. If you go through it and you're just a door opener, you're going to get paid like a door opener. Yeah. If you go through a house and you're like educating them like you're a real estate advisor, not just a real estate agent, you're going to be getting more referrals. Yeah. So you're earning their trust.
throughout the process, being yourself, right? Just being that thorough agent.
Helping them make a better decision with buying.
Right. And not being afraid to probably tell them, no, this is not the right house, right?
Yeah. Like, somebody's tight on money. The house that has really old windows that are going to cost them $40,000 to replace. Not the right house for them.
Right.
Just, you got to tell them no. Slap the hand.
Yep. I know.
Tell them to walk the other way,
Give them the thumbs down.
Yep. Thumbs
That should be your thing. You should put your thumb out to the side. Be like, here's my thought.
Next
house. If you get one of the cheesy thumbs up with the good grin on your face.
Let's take a selfie in front of this house now.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, man, I feel like I just did that yesterday.
You probably did.
Give somebody the
a few
thumbs up, wrote an offer.
Yep.
Great.
So obviously educate. At any point in time, are you doing anything to like, a lot of people are like, oh, you got to ask for the referral. I've heard a lot of people talk about like, doing a party afterwards, housewarming party, that type of thing. I mean, what is the thing that you would say works best for you?
I would say you ask less, but you ask very nicely. So really, the only time that I really ask people is at the closing. It's like, hey, we found you a great house. You're going to enjoy this house. It's going to be perfect for you. Here's why. Make sure you set up your utilities.
Yep.
You set up your electric, your gas, and your water so you don't have that shut off tomorrow on you.
Yep.
And if you ever know any friends or family that are looking to buy a new house, love to help them.
Yeah.
That's how I grew up my business. And it goes over really well.
Yeah.
And then you just put a little thing in your email signature that says, well, your referrals are always welcome, that kind of thing. But if you overkill on it, I think it comes off salesy. You just have to have a very genuine time to ask.
Yeah.
And if you send in an email, it doesn't work. It has to be like, you're at the closing, everything went super smooth. Here's how I grow my business.
Right.
And it works.
And just be honest about it.
And also, I'm going to invite you to my parties every, twice a year, family photo event once a year, and our brewery event once a year.
Yep.
Feel free to come, bring your friends and family.
Right.
That kind of thing. So those are big. But I think really earning their trust, having confidence that you know a lot about real estate is going to get you more referrals than asking.
Right.
And that's the part that most people won't take that, time to learn.
Yeah. No, I think that's great. I mean, I think the big thing I always come back to with anybody's business in this industry is like, it's not complicated. Like, just be a good human being.
Yeah.
Just care about people. Treat them as you would want to be treated. Look out for their best interests, like we're legally obligated to anyways.
Yep.
And be vocal about how you grow your business.
Yeah.
Be like, I operate mostly on referrals. Please keep me in mind.
Yeah.
That's it. And then at those events and stuff, which are just being a good human, like, hey, you took care of my family. I'm going to make sure to add some value to you.
Yeah.
Good things happen.
Yeah. It's just a constant reminder too. Every time I send out the invite for those events, constant reminder, hey, I'm still here.
Right.
I'm still in the business. 99% of the people I invite, I think my last event 2 weeks ago, I invited 870 people to. That's just the people and their families.
Yeah.
And I think we had maybe 60 that came.
Yep.
And, it was like, so maybe 1% or 10% came.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Not much.
No, and that's always how it is.
But
my struggle is I always have difficulty getting my team members to invite people to events.
That's my biggest
problem. You run into that
too? Yeah.
I don't get that.
Yeah.
It's a free event.
They don't invite anybody. Like my
I don't know enough
last
people.
event, I think maybe 10 people were there that were not my clients.
That's always me too.
Yeah, so there's like maybe 70, 80 people there.
Yeah, we had to do a big movie theater event every year, and like we have
that's a good one.
150 people show up. Like it's a fun one, but it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
But man, like it's 130 are my clients, and and I'm like, I have 23 team members. So
where'd they come?
You guys all got one person?
Yeah.
Like what?
And it's usually
and it's like
it's usually their parents,
their girlfriend, or
their spouse.
Yeah, and I'm like,
yeah.
So
it always baffles me that people won't put the work in. Like,
well, they want to be on a team where they do events, right?
Yeah.
Or you want to be at a brokerage where they throw events. Like when I was at Edina Realty, they always did this pumpkin thing.
Giveaway. Yeah.
And I had to pay a little bit of money, and then I could invite people. And it was great.
Yeah.
But like so many agents would not participate, or would complain that it was like $50 that they had to put up. And I'm like, you guys, this is dirt cheap way to get in front of people and give back. Like,
yeah. All you got to do is invite.
Just drives me crazy. Because like you said, I think the beauty or the smart part of it is in the invite.
Yep.
Like, because like you said, most aren't going to show up. I know that. Everybody's got things going on. It's okay. Yeah. I don't take it personally.
Yeah, I'm not offended.
No.
Like, but I'm not offended to anybody that says no.
Yeah.
Just extra beer for me to drink
right.
at the brewery, I guess.
Right.
Darn. Which might not be a good thing. I don't know.
Yeah, right. But like, as long as you send the invite, now they're thinking about you again, right? So I think that's why I preach to my team all the time. Like, you guys, we just have to have reasons to reach out to people. So like this last weekend was a holiday weekend, and I said, hey, make sure if you're not working this weekend, I get it, whatever, reach out to all your sphere, your friends, your family, send them a personal message and just say, hey, I hope you have a amazing long holiday weekend. Yeah. You know, and it's just like, that means more to these people than some Facebook video about the market. Yeah. You know?
Yeah. I mean, I think the market updates are kind of blown out, overused, overdone. You know, I think people want to know what you're doing in your life.
Yes.
What's happening with your family. They want to know, you know, here and there. They can scroll through and find some updates here and there. But, But they don't care every day.
No.
Like, they don't want to see.
That's how you get the unsubscribe button.
Yeah. Thumbs down.
Yeah, the thumbs down from Ryan Fischer. But okay, so then you got to a point, you know, you're selling lots of houses on your own. When did you start your team?
So a team started 7 years ago.
Okay.
I was on a team when I started.
What team were you on?
I was on a team called the Twin Cities Property Finder Group.
Twin Cities Property Finder. Are they still around?
Not anymore. Okay. I think it's one guy now, I think. Okay. Or one or two guys. But they were great. I mean, great group of guys. I think we had up to like 15 people on the team at the time when I like separated off.
So did you join on the team to start?
So when I started, the team was just starting. Okay. So it was like David, Ben, myself, and like everything was getting formed. Yeah. And I was like, oh, cool, I can be a part of this, like see how this team starts up, and I'm like, be a part of this growth and whatever. And then part of that team was I get 5% of the commissions of an agent that I recruit to the team. Nice. So I was like, oh, I'm getting good at this recruiting thing. So I started asking people to join, and you know, eventually I had like 7 or 8 people that were on the team being mentored by me, and we were like selling houses together. Yeah. Pretty cool. Yeah. So I kind of learned how to form a team, mentor a team, recruit a team, retain a team from this other model. And then when I rolled off, some of the guys came with me. You know, they're like, oh, we want to stay with you. Yeah. Some of the guys rolled off independently, and some came over to my team. Yeah. And pretty cool. So that was kind of learned how to form it before I even formed my own. Yeah. But I was young and new to the business, and I had a lot of learning to do. So I was on that team about 3 years. Right around 3 years. Yeah. And kind of soaked up as much as I could, and eventually it was like time to fly. Yeah. On my own.
Spread your wings.
Without hitting the mic.
Yeah. Jump out the nest, man. Yeah.
Blow out some speakers.
Yeah, we told Ryan he cannot talk with his hands, and he's trying very hard. He's like sitting on his hands.
I'm like keeping him in my lap, very careful.
Don't want him to hit the mic and cause somebody to drive off the road.
I get too animated sometimes.
You know who's going to drive off the road? It'll be you listening to this a month from now.
Yep. I'll be like, Jesus.
How'd Ryan die? Well,
he's listening to his own narcissistic podcast.
Damn Tesla.
Oh, God. The thing just drove off the road.
It had self-drive mode, and it just didn't. It got scared.
Saw a squirrel.
Or a beaver.
Yeah, could have been a beaver.
New mascot.
What do you think of that?
New mascot alert. That's fun.
Yeah. I was like, hey, who doesn't like a mascot? Like Captain Homefinder finally morphed into a beaver.
Right. I feel like you should have a captain's hat, though.
Maybe later. I was trying to keep it like unisex.
Yeah,
you know,
okay.
And sometimes captain's hats look a little too masculine. Yeah. They don't go with like the hair.
I hear you.
You know,
so yeah, it's not really like Easter themed at times. You know, because like you have to be, you need to be able to go with all the holidays. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Because I'm sure he'll be in an Easter bunny suit.
Oh yeah. Easter bunny suit, probably dress up as Superman. Or
can you
some
imagine
kind
the guy that actually has to wear the beaver mascot within an Easter bunny outfit?
God.
That guy's gonna die of a heat stroke.
This would be so terrible. This mascot thing is gonna be interesting. I'm like, I'm going to try this out for a week, see what kind of feedback I get about a mascot, beaver.
Yeah.
But I was like, this kind of looks like a University of Minnesota gopher. So
I think it's good.
Kind of has a Minnesota theme.
Yeah.
Building colonies, building homes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Causing a bunch of problems for cities with their dams.
Dams.
That's the real message behind it. I cause problems for everybody.
Yeah, putting dams up everywhere.
Yeah.
That damn beaver.
You're just a pest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. I get the message.
Yeah. Garrett, let's sell another house.
I'm not even gonna. I can't even talk about Garrett without crying.
Oh yeah, Garrett. It's a little tear in your eye.
Too funny. Damn it, Garrett.
Too funny.
Doobie. So okay, form the team.
Yep.
And you've been with Remax the whole time, right?
Yep.
Results.
Yeah.
What office are you out of?
Yeah, I was initially out of the Eden Prairie office, which is like the Remax Results corporate headquarters.
Okay.
But after I started my team, I wanted some space for my old team, so I went over to the Edina West office, which is off of Highway 100.
Nice.
And Eden Avenue.
Cool.
Yeah, it's a good spot.
Yeah.
First floor. It's great.
Easy.
Less steps.
Mm-hmm.
No elevators.
Yeah. Like it.
All right, just easy, like your
One
office.
level living.
Like
maybe.
your office, easy in,
Yep.
easy out.
Yep.
Don't have to worry about
Room for the beaver mascot.
Yep. Like if I'm wearing that thing, I don't want to go up to my steps.
No, hell no.
I sweat like crazy. It'd be bad, especially in this humidity.
Yeah, the tail wouldn't be able to get through the elevator.
No, that thing would be slapping all over the place. It'd be trouble.
So, all right. So, and you're still there.
Yep.
And I guess anything else you want to add about your business? Maybe like, what's like, where does most of your business come from? Are you buying leads? Is it all sphere based? Is it open houses? Like when you think of not just yourself, but like your team, like what's your guys's
mix up?
Yeah.
What's our mix? We buy some Zillow leads.
Mm-hmm.
We probably spend like 10 grand a month on Zillow leads.
Yep.
Probably spend like 20 grand a month on realtor.com
Mm-hmm.
leads. So we've got both those going for the team. We reinvest a portion of every agent on our team's commissions back into leads.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how they're bought. So the more we close, the more leads we buy, that kind of thing. So it's kind of a dynamic system.
Yeah.
Then realtor events,
Yep.
the client appreciation events, those are big. But mostly try to harp on referrals.
Yeah.
That's number one for my business personally. And, I don't think I've taken a Zillow lead and realtor.com lead in 2 years, 3 years, something like that. It's just all referral based, which is more fun. So the goal is for any realtors to eventually get to that point where you're just getting referrals from past clients. But it takes some time to build. It doesn't happen overnight. It's like people want it to happen year one. It doesn't.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen.
Takes a few years for sure.
Takes probably 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2, and then you start seeing them. And then it's like, okay, 20% of my business is referrals.
Yep.
And by year, 5, it might be 50%. But if you can get there faster, the key is get there as fast as you can.
Well, it's kind of like the race to 100 is what we always talk about.
Yep.
Like you get 100 past clients. You're not gonna sell 100 houses a year from referrals, but you probably sell 15, 20. You know, if you got 100 past clients, you should.
Yeah. And if you do a good job with them,
right.
You really take care of them.
So now it's like, all right, if you were selling like your first year, you sold 18 houses, right?
Yep.
And let's say at that time, because most people, it's not referral based, it's you like grinding every day to go find them, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Now you do that every year, right? So you're still getting that 20, maybe 25 from you grinding your butt off.
Yep.
And then it's now you're adding in those 15, 20, 30 closings a year from referrals.
Yep.
That's how people get to the 50, 60 unit mark.
Yep.
Or more, right?
Yep.
I don't think there's many people grinding to get 100 sales.
No.
You're grinding to get like 30.
Yeah.
And then the rest of it is stuff that you've laid the groundwork for years, right?
Yeah.
At least that's what I see.
Oh, that's huge.
Or it's leads, right?
Yeah.
Or it's like you're buying leads.
I always want to be filling the pipeline with something new.
Right.
So you still got to keep your foot on the gas with marketing.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of realtors out there will just like say, oh, okay, I'm good.
Yeah.
And then they stop paying for leads. They stop doing marketing events. Next thing you know, their business it's like a death by 1,000 cuts. It slowly
just
dies
tapers
off, and you don't even notice it. And 5 years later, you're like, I sold 5 houses. What happened?
I know.
Well, you stop doing your networking groups. You stop doing your client appreciation events. You stop doing your cold calls, your follow-ups with your past clients,
Yep.
happy birthday wishes to your friends and family. And next thing you know, you're getting no referrals.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, why am I so twiddling my thumbs at home on my couch?
Then you got to start over. It's miserable.
Yeah. Nobody wants to start over.
No.
You might as well just keep building. But you got to keep your foot on the gas.
Right.
And, everybody's a little different with how they do it.
Yeah.
Mine is, one-to-one meetups with people. That's like my number one.
Like lunches, coffees, dinners, that type of thing.
Probably mostly coffees. Occasional lunches.
Yeah.
But I would say like coffee meetups are huge.
Yeah.
Learn about what they're doing with their business, learn how I can help their business.
Yep.
See if there's a way I can tie into it and help them grow in any way.
Yep.
Usually people want to help you back.
For sure.
And I don't care if they do or they don't. I'd like them to, but my number one intention is always to help them grow.
Yep.
Like, will I meet a client that needs their services at some point? Can I plug them in? And I want to make sure that referral to them is really genuine.
Right.
It's a good fit.
Right.
So if somebody's looking for a chiropractor that has low back pain, I want to make sure that they're getting a great chiropractor that deals with low back pain.
Right. So. Yeah, I think that is the thing that I really noticed shift my business was like just stop worrying about yourself and just worry about how can you help other people.
Yeah.
Because they get it. They understand what we need, what we want.
Yeah.
But when you're sitting there making it about yourself, it's not a good look, right? And that's something I think I've always been pretty good at is just like being humble, being willing to help whoever.
Yeah.
And it does have a way of coming back to you, but you got to put yourself out there. You got to reach out and be like, I want to get together with you. How can I help your business? Learn more about it, stuff like that.
Yeah. Knowledge is power.
Yeah.
If you know more about somebody's business, you can help them more.
Which segues into the reason that Ryan Fischer is here.
Yeah.
So it was a long build-up, but I wanted you guys to understand. I want to understand who is sitting across the table from me. He's not just, some guy with a big thumb. Okay, he's not just some like client stealer.
Two big thumbs.
2 big thumbs.
Okay.
who has 2 thumbs and steals clients?
This guy, right here.
I'm never gonna let it go.
This is gonna go on forever.
Forever. I love it.
So perfect.
But he's not just some guy. He does a really good job. Has a great business. Very well respected. So I hope everybody understands that. But the main reason that I wanted him to come on here was to talk about the one thing he feels he's better than most at. Not going to say better than everybody, but better than most at in the industry. And Ryan, you said what? What was your thing?
I like to make sure I'm very educated on the real estate buying and selling processes.
Yeah, and making sure your clients are educated,
communicated with about that information.
Right. And I think that that's so smart because in this industry, we know that people are going to work with you or refer you business if they know you, like you, and trust you, right? And there's no better way to achieve all 3 of those than just by educating so that they feel totally prepared for any scenario, right? Like the people out there that are like actually doing sales are doing it wrong. Wouldn't you agree? Like you shouldn't be selling anybody on buying a house.
No sales in real estate.
No.
I mean, there's a transaction, a buying and selling, but you're not selling your client.
Right.
You're helping your client.
And you're educating.
And you're educating them to be helped the best way possible.
And through that educational process, it makes the choice obvious and clear to them.
I get right on. I mean, that's what you want. You want to guide them down this path that gets them so that their decision is very, comfortable.
Right.
Like they're comfortable buying the house that they chose.
Yeah.
And if they're uncomfortable, guess what? You didn't do your job.
And you're not getting a referral.
Nope.
You're not going to have repeat business, and you're going to have to grind hard to replace that one person that you didn't do a good job with, right?
And next year, not getting a referral from them.
Yeah.
You're hunting another person down.
Yep. And then they're calling up another realtor like Tyler Miller or something.
Yeah. I gotta call Garrett.
I already texted him.
Damn it. I thought I saw you thumbing something.
Oh yeah. I've been distracting you this whole time.
Yeah. What's he doing over there?
This is all just a ruse for me to get Garrett back.
He's telling me to sit on my hands so I can't text him. I get it.
But anyway, so I want Ryan to go a little deeper on when he says educating his clients. Like what are those couple maybe key things you make sure that you don't skip in the process, and any other little silver bullet type of strategies that you use with helping your clients feel more educated. So I'll let you kind of just take the floor and run with a couple things. And for those listening or watching, this is the part where you probably want to take some notes.
All right. Can I take notes too?
Yeah, you should.
All right. Sure. I'm definitely going to take some notes on this one. No, my first year in the business was probably like the biggest thing I learned very quickly is I didn't know anything about houses.
Yeah.
I was remodeling them, but I didn't know like what made an old roof, what made an old furnace, what made a bad siding, what was it.
And then just because it's old doesn't mean it's bad.
Yeah.
Not always, right?
Old sometimes is better.
Sometimes,
if it's well maintained, if it's been cared for with the right person by the right people, and different types of siding are different maintenance. Item. There's different maintenance for every stucco siding versus aluminum siding versus steel siding versus vinyl.
You mean aluminium?
Aluminium. I like that. Yeah.
You should start saying that.
Aluminium siding.
Aluminium.
There goes my referrals. God dang it. I can't even say the words anymore.
Even say it.
God, it's going to stick in my head forever now.
I say aluminum. I used to say association.
Association. But there's no H in there anymore?
There never was.
They took it out?
They took it out, yeah. But I remember somebody being like, why do you say it that way? And I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
And like, you're saying association. Yeah. And I'm like, isn't it association? They're like, no, it's association. Yeah. It's like, oh.
Like you associate?
It's like groceries and groceries.
Groceries.
How do you say it?
Groceries?
That's not what you say.
Let's go grocery shopping.
Grocery shopping.
Oh, God.
Anyway, sorry. You were talking about siding. Continue.
Well, as you...
And you keep talking. I'm going to spit out my gum.
Oh, man. Crazy. That helps with those pronunciations.
It does, yeah.
Like
Hold on. You keep going, though.
All right. Well, that first year, I was like, all right, I know nothing about houses. And I'm like, I've got to figure out, how do I get to this point where I can appropriately educate my client as they're going through this process? Mm-hmm. So I started hitting seminars like crazy. I started going to trainings on inspections. I started going to going to the actual inspections with the inspectors, and I would follow them through the whole inspection. They're snapping pictures, and I'm like following through. I'm like, what'd you take a picture of? Why? What was that?
Yeah.
Like, oh, there's a hole in the siding right there. Oh, yeah, that's obvious.
Mm-hmm.
Well, but why?
Yeah.
So started getting into like, why does this stuff happen? Why do cracks form on the foundation? Why do things settle? Why do they, old homes, why do they seep water through the limestone? Because they were built in the early 1900s.
Isn't that wild, though, when you go down in the basement, it's a limestone foundation.
It's like 3 feet thick.
It's crazy.
And reinforced. And, you're like, holy heck.
Yeah.
Like, this house doesn't look like anything else I've ever seen. And then you see, like, the octopus, gravity, like, you're like, oh, my God.
Yeah.
This is the biggest heater I have ever seen in a house. And it's just, these things are nuts.
Yeah.
And you start to learn, like, all right, this thing's super inefficient. Your gas bill is going to be 5 times higher with, one furnace versus a boiler versus versus forced air.
Mm-hmm.
And so you go through this process, and that's stuff that you just need to be able to walk people through and know that they're going to be up to an added cost by living in this house versus living in the other house that we saw.
Yeah.
And so just started educating myself. So Structure Tech, one of the inspection companies out there, they offer tons of trainings. So I started going to those like crazy.
Yeah.
My first year, I think I went to 3 seminars from Structure Tech, which at the time was a lot because that was like everything they offered.
Yeah.
Like now they do them all the time online, and they've got them in person.
Mm-hmm.
They're great, but their trainings are top notch, and they're and that's part of it is like if you can learn from people that are inspecting the houses, you're going to be able to advise your clients on what makes a good and bad house.
Yeah.
And so that was part of my mission that first year was that, and then I just kept going to seminars and learning more.
Yeah.
And none of the stuff I ever went to was like, how do I become a better social media guy?
Right.
It's like, doesn't matter.
No.
Like that's part of, you got to figure out what's good for your business. Mine was, I want to get more referrals by doing a really good job helping people buy houses.
Yeah.
And if they can buy a house, get it for the right price, and the house doesn't cost them a fortune to maintain it over the years, they're going to be able to buy a better house the second time around.
Yeah.
They're going to have more equity built up. They're going to have more money saved up to buy the next house. Then it just keeps snowballing.
Yeah.
So it was part of my mission when I started was just Like I came from like a lot of college education. I'm like, I'm good at this learning thing. So now I just got to learn stuff that's going to help me in this.
Right.
So,
well, that's huge. I operate under a similar, just idea of making sure that, like, I got to the point, and you probably did a few years back, when the market was kind of crazy and people were waiving inspections more often. It was almost impossible to do an inspection on a house. And so obviously you do what the client is comfortable with. But when you have all that knowledge and education, years of experience behind you, you can help them feel more comfortable in the event waiving an inspection makes sense, right? You can be like, look, I'm not an inspector. However, because of all this experience, knowledge, whatever, I know that the thing you're concerned about over here actually isn't that big of a deal, and here's why.
Yeah.
Right? And again, you may want to get a professional's opinion. Let me connect you with 5 different people or whatever, But like, it's just being able to, when you can talk through those little challenges, it can make all the difference of helping somebody decide that that's the right house, or they panic and then they talk to another realtor and they're like, oh, I'm going to go work with that guy because they're just doing a better job of explaining it. I thought it was a bigger deal than it actually was, or so, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I think like being able to walk them through the steps of knowing what's serious and what's not, especially in times where you might have to waive an inspection, is unbelievable.
Yeah.
And like even having the people in your pocket that you can say, hey, I've got so-and-so inspector on speed dial. Let's text them a picture.
Yeah.
And see what they say.
Yep.
Let's see, even though they're not here in person to evaluate it, at least like I know enough people that we can get help.
Yeah.
And know when to ask for that help.
Yeah.
And that's powerful too. It's just like nobody's perfect.
Yeah.
Like even the inspectors miss stuff.
Yeah.
Like I can't tell you how many times I've gotten a call after a house inspection or after somebody moves in. They're like, oh, garbage disposal doesn't work.
Right.
And I'm like, it could have just gone out, could have not been working during the inspection. Like, it's unfortunate, but
houses are unpredictable.
It's crazy. I mean, it happens all the time.
All the time. Have you ever done I was pitched from an inspector. It was called like a mini inspection, where they'll go during the showing.
Yep. Like a walkthrough inspection.
Kind of like they'll do like it was like $150 and they'll do a quick one.
Yeah.
On like the major stuff, and then they'll come back after you close and finish it or something like that.
Oh.
I've used that a few times during the crazy times.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, all right, it's going to cost you money, but you think this is the one, right? They're like, yeah. I'm like, we got to bring someone with now because we're not getting an inspection on this. Like, there's 10 offers already. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you do the walkthrough inspection with the inspector there with you at the showing, pointing out stuff. I probably did 3 of those.
Okay. Yeah, I've only done a handful, but
not
like
a lot.
But it's being educated on the options even.
Yeah, it came in handy.
Yeah.
I mean, we won the one. We had 12 people we were against on the last one I did. Walk-in inspection with them. And we ended up winning the house against 12 people because we waived inspection.
It's huge.
She loves the house. We hear about it all the time.
Yep.
And, it worked out great in our favor.
We waived a lot of inspections, and I'm not getting calls left and right of people being like, this is a horrible house. How could you do this? Like, if you're educated in that process, you can pretty much tell if there's a problem with a house. Like, you know what I mean? Like, no guarantees,
like
but
you go into a basement, it smells like moisture.
You can see,
like,
you can find it.
Where is that coming from?
Right.
I don't know.
Or they got the dehumidifier down in the basement.
3 of them going every corner.
Yeah, it's like, well, let's look at the property disclosure. Oh, there's no history of water in the basement. Huh.
And they've got those like moisture removal bags hanging from the ceiling.
Yeah.
And then the deodorizer plugins into the wall.
Oh, yeah.
They're like, something's wrong here.
Yeah, let's leave.
I can't quite put my finger on it.
Yeah.
Thumbs down.
Thumb down.
Thumbs down. We're out of here.
So, all right. So that's one piece of educating, obviously, the inspection process. What else did you really want to talk about with that?
I mean, walking people through the inspection, make sure they get inspectors, make sure you have a good list of everything. But I think having really smooth, scripted out process in your real estate transaction. I've always been like a guy that needs or has less help, so I don't have a transaction coordinator. Everybody calls me directly. Part of that is because I have a lot of control over the system. I can control what people are told and what they're not told, meaning people are getting the right information for their purchase every single time.
Yeah.
There's no confusion. I know what's happening in every transaction.
Right.
But part of that is like making sure that they're getting the right updates on their buying process, making sure they're getting their inspectors' information in their hand in a timely fashion, make sure they know their deadlines at the right time. But that's all part of that, like educating your client so that they have that super streamlined experience, and make sure that they're happy along the way if they're upset about something or they need help with something.
Yeah.
They're calling me. They're not confused with who to talk to.
Right.
And that's, I think there's a lot of people that get involved with transaction coordinators and they rely on them too much. And really, you still have a job to do as a realtor.
Right.
You still have to engage with
You're still liable for making mistakes. You know what I mean? You got to know what is going on in that transaction.
Yeah.
100% agree with that. And I think, I think you were alluding to, I think it's really important to over communicate.
Yeah.
And have a direct communication with your client. Whatever. People run your business how you want, but I think having the idea of people can only reach me on a certain number, on a certain time,
10 to 5 p.m.
But that's not our business. I'm sorry. It's just not. Like, it is if you don't want to sell houses, if you want to just run a team or something, right? But if you are trying to actively sell homes, you are representing the buyer and the seller. Yeah. They have to be able to reach you whenever. Yeah. Just the way it is.
Yeah. I mean, Memorial Day, my phone didn't stop ringing. Yeah. Like people were setting up showings for today already,
Dude, I had like 4 showing requests come in last night. I'm like, what is going on? From 4 different people. It was bonkers.
Yeah.
But yeah, I could have easily just been like, I'm not working this weekend. It's just whatever.
No, this business never stops. I always tell people my hours are 9 to 9. Like at least it's true. Like usually before 9, I'm like, all right, well, it's a little early. I need some time with my daughter.
Right.
And that's super important to me. And in the morning, make sure that I have that quality time.
Yep.
And then after 9 p.m., it gets to be a little hard to always be available.
Yeah.
But between those times,
gotta love those inspection deadlines at 11:59.
Oh gosh,
and no one's getting back to you. We gotta change that.
Yeah.
Can we start a movement?
They should
to change it to it ends at 9 or something.
Remember they used to do it like it would end on this day and then you get a day to respond. You'd have like one day, 24 hours to respond to it after that.
Just stop the madness, people.
Yeah. Why? It's too nuts now.
Like I'm sitting there because, you'll be in that situation where, all right, guys, if they don't sign this, we have to send a cancellation.
Yeah.
Yes, now I've started just sending both. I'm like, just pick one.
Yeah. Either sign this inspection amendment or sign the cancellation.
But either way, I'm going to bed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like at least it's in your inbox. I always send, this is pretty cool. I mean, I always send over, with my requests, I always send over the option to cancel. So if this is not agreed to, my buyer would like the option to cancel. And it's just in the email format so that it kind of reserves that right.
Yeah.
If it's not returned in a timely fashion. So if it's 10 p.m. on the last day and we're probably not going to hear back that night, we don't want to be stuck with something not being resolved.
Well, or you have to go and be a dad or be a husband or whatever, right? You can't be sitting around at 11:59 at night waiting to send a cancellation or waiting to, I don't know, rush a signature. Some of the stuff in our industry is just silly.
Yeah, that should be like a 8 o'clock deadline.
Honestly,
or something on that last day or some kind of time. Like as long as you get the request in by this time, you got 24 hours to respond to it. Otherwise, it's forced cancellation or something.
Right.
Or it's weird. Our land contracts say something completely different than our house contracts or property contracts. So if you have the land ones, it usually says something like if you don't hear anything by the 10th day, this contract is automatically terminated.
Right.
It just automatically terminates.
Yeah.
So if you don't have a resolution or whatever.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. Yeah. Like it's just a forced cancellation.
I've seen a lot of cool things in the commercial world.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Yeah. Commercial world is a rodeo out there.
It is.
It is nuts.
But they're just like, there's not, I don't know. There's not all these like if, ands, or buts. It's just like, it's pretty clear. Like this is what happens if you don't meet these deadlines or expectations, right?
Yeah.
It's like the freaking Glenn Taylor, Alex Rodriguez thing right now. He missed a payment. Glenn Taylor's like, I kind of want the team still. Like, you know, you missed a payment, A-Rod. Sorry, man. Like, the contract states he doesn't have to sell it now.
Oh, that's interesting.
So they're going to arbitration. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, there's always some kind of resolution that comes out of that.
It's like the worst time to miss a payment.
It's
Timberwolves. What are we doing here?
Yeah, that's a really bad option right there. That's like a contract for deed.
Yeah.
Don't miss payments.
Don't miss
contract for deeds.
Not when they're
those are dangerous.
Western Conference.
I think there's somebody getting in trouble for that right now for, you know, predatory contract for deeds or whatnot.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So that's something to keep an eye out for. Is just be careful with those.
Yeah.
Those are touch and go.
Yeah.
There's some great companies out there like Contract for Deed LLC and some of those guys that just do it very professionally.
Yeah.
But then there's a bunch of them out there that are just like fly by night that are doing contracts, and they're just trying to wait for you to miss a payment where they're taking the property back. You're like, okay.
Goes back to education, baby.
Yep. Yeah. So you got to keep people educated. Everything goes back to that.
It really does.
You got to protect your
knowledge
client.
is power, right? Like we always used to talk about, like one of, I guess, the hot terms, at least when we first started, you probably heard it a lot, was like, be the knowledge broker.
Yeah.
And now it's like, I think the hot take right now is like, you know, be that real estate advisor. Like you hear a lot of people saying that, but before it was like, be the knowledge broker, because with knowledge, like, I mean, good luck out negotiating somebody that just understands how the process works and how what you're saying is probably inaccurate. You know what I mean? Like you can't really argue with facts.
Yeah.
Or very, very educated opinion, you know?
Yeah. I see a lot of people that are like very uneducated about something and they get frustrated. And these agents are like, get fired up over stuff that they don't know about. And they like, I mean, just yesterday, somebody was getting all fired up about some addendum and some escalation clause, you know, counter offer. And I'm like, don't get fired up about it. It's very simple.
Yeah.
What's your highest offer? They're good. This is going to pay $1,000 more than that.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do the math.
Yeah.
You know, like
I know.
Seller's going to, like, you don't get upset with it. You just have to learn how to read it and how to understand it.
Oh my God.
And then you can help advise your seller or your buyer on the best way forward.
Yeah.
And as long as your buyers know what they're signing and your sellers know what they're signing, they understand, and you educate them on that.
It's their choice.
Here's the risk of signing this contract. Like, they can take that risk or not take it.
Right.
Yep.
We got to stop standing in their way.
Yeah.
I think that's one thing a lot of agents, they'll like, I'm protecting.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not your choice.
Yeah.
Your job is to present the facts, present the offer, present the options, and let them make a decision. You can obviously give them advice, but to say you're not going to do something, it's not your call. It's not your decision, you know? And I don't know where some people get these ideas. I'm just like, you're making this way harder than it has to be. Like, just go get me an answer. You
wouldn't believe how many times people are, right now they're saying, oh, I just can't advise my clients to buy right now.
Ugh.
And I'm like, you can't advise your clients to buy. Your clients, there's people that need to buy right now. And if you can't advise them to buy, like I had a couple last week that is going through a divorce, and they need houses. They need 2 new houses. They need to sell one and get 2 new ones. And I'm like, okay, there's a need here. This isn't a want. I'm not advising them on good timing or bad timing to do this. Like, they're getting divorced. Like, it's a bad time for everybody. Like, they're going through a really tough time. And the only thing I can do is make this a little bit easier by making sure they land on their feet the right way.
Right.
And it's not up to me.
I know.
Just me giving them the right direction to make it as smooth as possible. And then it comes down to knowing the processes, knowing the timelines, being educated on what we need to do to get them to that next chapter of their life.
Right.
And make sure that they're giving me thumbs up at the closings.
There you go. There you go, baby. Yeah, it is. I do think, I tell my team this all the time. I'm like, this industry is about giving options.
Yeah.
Do not come to me or your client with the problem. Come to me with the solution. Right?
Right.
Like, you can complain all you want, but that doesn't solve it. So here's your problem. How do we solve this? And yes, your opinion is warranted in certain circumstances. However, like, I used to get so riled up early on in my career, you know, like the other day, actually, I didn't get riled up, but I would have back in the day.
Yeah.
So, someone calls me, they're like, hey, the closing before us is getting delayed. We don't have the money until the next day. And right away, like early on, I would have been like somebody's to blame, like out for blood.
I'm going to go after him.
Right, I'm going to protect. Yeah. I'm going to fight.
It's my job to fight this.
Right, that was like my mentality.
Yeah.
But I learned quickly that doesn't accomplish anything. I'm just throwing a tantrum for no reason. So when this happened the other day, like I was super chill. I was like, cool, man. Like,
cool.
I'm like, hey, man, I appreciate you calling me and letting me know because I know it sucks to make this phone call. I've been there.
Yeah.
You know, what can we do to solve it?
Yeah.
Well, this is what we're doing. I'm like, all right. Hey, could you go back and ask this one question? Because I think if you do this, we could probably make this work better for my client. Like, it was like we were collaborating over this problem versus I hate you for bringing this problem to me.
Right.
And I just think once you master that, this industry gets super easy and like fun. But if it's always like I'm being attacked, that's where I think people get burnt out really quickly because there's going to be problems with almost every transaction.
Every week.
Sometimes big, sometimes small.
Yeah.
Especially if you do it at a high level. If you're selling 100+ houses, I can't imagine your week is riddled with problems.
Yeah, I probably got 2 on my phone right now.
Right now.
But,
well, 3 because Garrett left you.
Yeah, damn it. Garrett, if you're out there, don't leave me.
This won't be out there for a month, so I'll have him under contract way before he hears this.
Oh, man. I'm going to race you there right after this.
You'll win. You have a really sweet Tesla. But anyways, so I don't want to beat a dead horse too much.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to add when it comes to educating that really sticks out to you? Or maybe when you think back, like moved the needle in your business where like if you, all right, I finally like understand this part of the business and now all these other opportunities have opened for me. Is there anything else that comes to mind for you?
Yeah. I mean, I think the first year you really got to just overdo it on that. And, you know, and then you need to move the needle back and, you know, you don't go to every inspection after that first year or first 2 years, you know? So the first year, go to everything. And then you're like, all right, now I don't have to do it.
I used to go to every one.
Yeah.
I haven't been to one in about 5 years now.
Yeah. That's about where I'm at. You know, I think 5-6 years, you just stop doing it because you've heard the same thing over and over again. And now you see a picture on a report and you're like, I get it.
Know how to handle it.
Like, I know exactly what he's talking about just from a simple picture.
Yep.
And that's sweet. But once you get to a certain level of like confidence on things, I think your descriptions and education to clients gets better and better every year.
Yeah.
And so, you know, the first couple of years is figuring out the language. I put everything into like these great Apple notes, and I'm like, okay, buyer's offers accepted. Or here's buyer's offers accepted. Here's what I'm going to send them next in their next email.
Yep.
And it's just like a simple, here's your next 3 steps.
Yep.
You know, and I'll walk you through these, but first you're going to pay your earnest money. Second, and you're going to see that come through through trust funds. Second, you're going to set up your inspection. Here's 4 inspectors that I recommend, top inspection companies I recommend. Feel free to call any of them.
Yep.
These are just what past clients have recommended to me from their good experiences. And third is make sure you know, give me an update on when these are done.
Right.
And so that there's some like call to action telling them to come back to me with some of that. And so I think that like the most, if you can automate it and then walk them through some of that automation or some of those scripts, it's super, super helpful because then you don't forget anything.
Right.
You can say, oh, remember when I sent you that message? Like very easy. It was detailed out. Nothing got missed. Right? It's the people that are new in the business that they try to create their own text in their language every single time instead of just using something that works.
Have a template.
And there's only 2 templates I really use. One is when I send people their first documents to sign on Instinet forms. Like I send them a really good description of, you know, here's the documents, here's what they are, here's how you sign them. Yeah. And then I reaffirm that out with the phone call or other text messages. Yeah. And then the second one is after their offer is accepted. Yeah. Those are like the 2 scripts that I think everybody has to have in their business. If they don't, they're missing information to their client. Right. And their client's not getting a really good education on what their steps of the process are. Yeah. And that just makes you get more referrals.
Yeah.
Like it all goes back to how do you get more referrals from your clients? That's it.
Provide an amazing process, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that's super smart, and I'm sure you'd echo what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
If anybody out there is wondering what our processes are, reach out. Be happy to send whatever to you guys. Like, help raise the bar. That's what we're trying to do.
As my daughter says, sharing is caring.
Sharing is caring, baby.
Yeah. Every time she gives me a fruit snack.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
When I come over to Wake Surf,
sharing.
I'm going to be like, I heard sharing is caring.
Yep.
Where's the White Claw?
Yeah, you got it. Sharing is caring. In the fridge.
Yeah.
Go help yourself.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But okay, well, I appreciate you sharing all that type of stuff. I think it's just wildly overlooked. You know, people get really excited. They want to get into it. They get an offer accepted, and then they're just like, now what? And it's like, well, if you didn't do the proper education, you might be in trouble.
Yeah.
Because you're going to run into some problems.
Yep.
It's going to happen.
Yep.
I tell my team all the time, the people that get paid the most in this industry are the ones that solve the most problems.
Yeah.
Plain and simple.
Yep.
There's no other way around it. So I appreciate you sharing all that. That was very, very helpful, I think, for anybody that's listening or watching this.
Yeah, pleasure.
To end the podcast, I always like to do a little fun, like, basically like short answer or one-word answer type questions, just to learn a little bit about your thoughts on some things.
Perfect.
So I have a couple that come to mind that I want to make sure I ask you about. Some of them are real estate related. Some of them are just for fun. Let's start with an easy one. Listing presentations. Would you say they're overrated or underrated?
Overrated.
You think they're overrated? All right. I like it. Now, why?
I think it really comes down to giving appropriate information to the sellers.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the presentation we're in like a very speed sensitive market.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think if you can give people you can walk through somebody's house, leave them the comps that have sold in the area. They don't have to be like the specific comps for that exact house, but houses that have sold in that area, or email that to them. That's all you need to do is make sure you listen to them about the house.
Yep.
And leave the comps behind, and let them know that within 24 hours, you'll get back to them with their market evaluation and what they should sell their house for.
So you do a two-step.
Mm-hmm.
Not a kid.
Yeah.
Because most are one step. There we go.
Yeah.
Do the two-step. Cowboy. No, but I seriously, almost everybody I talk to does a one-step, and I'm like, am I the only guy that does a two-step?
No.
I don't know how people do a one-step.
No.
It drives me nuts.
Like, if I was to go in your house and you were to say, what's my value of my house today?
Yeah.
Anything I tell you is a lie.
It's insulting.
It's a lie.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way I can walk into your house and tell you exactly what your house is worth without seeing
But I heard you're the local expert.
Yeah.
Don't you know this area? But I'm like,
doesn't matter.
Listen, I might sell the most houses in Blaine.
Yeah.
But it does not mean I know what your house is worth by just looking at it.
Yeah.
I have to educate myself because every neighborhood's different.
Yeah. And I could give a ballpark, but that ballpark is so broad.
Especially in this market.
Yeah.
I mean, it's up, it's down, it's sideways.
Every street over is a different market. If it's a 2-story versus a 1-story, it's a different market. If it's a split level, condo, town.
I know.
I mean,
you get it. Because most agents don't get it, man.
Yeah, they don't.
They just want a one-step it. They want to save as much time as possible.
I think they're trained the wrong way on that. And I think there's too many videos out there that show you a listing presentation should walk you through from start to finish and sign the contract that day.
Mm-hmm.
And I will never have somebody sign the contract that day at my first meeting.
Ever.
I'm just taking information, taking that information back to the office, putting together a market evaluation when I have time to think about it and evaluate it the right way.
Yeah.
And then I'm giving people 24 hours that I'll get back to them.
And do you meet with them a second time?
No.
No. Okay.
No.
So when you...
Next time I meet with them, I'm with a photographer and bringing seller's disclosures.
All right. So you email them your proposal, essentially.
Yep.
Like, here's what I think you should list it for. Here's the net sheet. Here's my marketing.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And then you just say, like, circle yes or no in the email.
Respond, thumbs up, thumbs down.
Get that, dude.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Send me a picture.
It should be
this.
a picture of you like this or a picture of you like this. And like, just pick one.
Yeah, just circle. No, it's usually here's my recommendations. Here's the next step is when you're ready for photos, we'd send out the photographer. I'd come out with a photographer and drop off the lockbox, go over your seller's disclosures with you.
And they say, like...
If you want to move forward. And then at that, when I send them their market evaluation attachments, it's CMA and seller's net sheet, so they see all the fees.
Yes.
So there's no confusion. Like, what are you charging? What am I going to net? And I have that usually at that first meeting. They're telling me about the house, telling me what their mortgage payoff is.
Yeah.
So I have all the information. Those are the two things I need to know.
Yes.
What updates did you do to this house since you bought it? What do you think it's worth?
That's a great question.
A lot of people don't ask that.
Yep.
And I like to ask that because some people won't know, and some people won't say, and some people are very, very specific. It's worth $555,900.
Yeah.
And if I won't take a penny less.
Right.
And you're like, oh,
you just want to know that
it's worth $450 in my mind after the CMA. I might not want that client.
They're
as
wildly
a client.
off. Yeah.
I might not want to take it on. So
or you might want to charge 12%.
Or charge more, or take a retainer.
Right?
Know?
Yeah.
Like collect a retainer.
Absolutely.
So that you have your expenses covered no matter what.
Yeah.
And then you let the market show them what the actual value is.
Have you taken retainers before?
Once.
Have you? Yeah. I think with higher end homes, I think it totally makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Or if somebody's like, well, my house is worth $2 million, but it's only worth $750.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we might need a retainer.
We need a big old retainer.
Yeah. Yeah. We gotta talk about that.
So it's forever. I've always done 2 steps, and I would always go back to the house a second time.
Okay.
But in the last, I don't even know when it started. I'd probably say within the last year.
Yeah.
I've just started doing Zoom second appointments.
That's good.
I always personally explain the analysis to them. Again, this is personal preference. Yeah. Obviously, people, you can do it this way, which is probably even saving you more time, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
Because it's all about saving time, especially when you're selling 100 houses a year. Like, you just don't have the time.
Yeah.
So, but that's been way better.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah.
I think the clients appreciate it because I'm like, you know what? Hey, let's jump on a Zoom at like 8:00.
Yeah.
After your kids are in bed. Like, we don't need to try to force a meeting during dinner time. It's like the worst.
Yeah.
And
it'd be awkward trying to come over at 9 p.m. too. Yeah.
Seriously.
Hey, I'm coming over to your
house
house
done
at
it
9
though.
p.m.
I've done it.
Like, yeah, we all have.
And now it's like, I'm just going to do a Zoom. So that's one thing I'm really thankful for from, all this COVID crap was like, it really pushed me to embrace that more.
Yeah. It's huge.
And the clients are now obviously more open to it as well because they've been forced to do it. And so, but yeah, no, I'm glad to hear that somebody that sells as many houses as you, influences as many people as you do, I feel like you're doing it the right way versus showing up with a number in your mind and like forcing people to sign paperwork to hey, it works for people. I personally feel like it leads to overpriced homes. It leads to miscommunication. You're going to have to go back to get a bunch of other information. Yeah. Like you're not saving time. You're saving time right away.
Yeah.
But I think there's more shit that comes up, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Down the road. Because that first appointment, I spend like 2 hours with them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there's so much information I'm getting.
It's usually like hour and a half.
Yeah.
Unless somebody's like, doesn't want to be there very long.
Right.
I'm okay with that.
Right.
I'm not going to stretch it out, but I want them to ask every question that they have that first time. And then there's not very minimal questions after that.
Yeah.
It's like, are the blinds and curtains included in the sale of the home?
Yeah.
Like, is your TV on the wall, is that bracket going to stay or is that going to go? And I'm like jotting notes down.
Yep.
And on these items, like, do you want to take it or do you not?
Yep.
Like, we need to have that conversation.
Because you know the problems that are going to come up
at the end. And that's like,
it's always the same shit.
It's always
the curtains.
Yep.
It's the TVs. It's the mount. Right. It's all these little things.
It's a statue in the front yard with a mounting bracket that's permanently in the ground.
Yep.
But the statue is just set on it.
Right.
Like, what goes, what stays.
Right.
Like, we need to have that buttoned up in the purchase agreement.
I literally have a question in my appointment 1 checklist that says, is there any personal property in the home that would normally stay that you would want to take? And they're like, well, like what? And then I'll list off.
Yeah.
Hey, did your grandmother or mother knit you these curtains?
Yeah.
Because I've had that so many times.
Yeah.
Are they sentimental?
Or they match the comforter.
Right.
And they don't want to have a mismatched comforter.
Totally get it.
Like, that happens a lot.
Yep. Well, anyways, that's really cool.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that you do that because I just honestly like probably 8 out of 10 do 1 steps.
Yeah.
Which, hey, great. I'm not going to say not do it, but I can't wrap my mind around that.
I can't
unless you're calling ahead of time and asking all the questions that we ask. Plus, they have to send you photos, right? They got to send you something.
You can get somebody an estimate, but you get there and the basement stinks like dog.
Right.
Or they smoked and they didn't tell you that.
Yep.
And now your value went down 20 grand.
Yeah, and all the paperwork that you prepared is based on a number that you thought
It's all wrong.
Otherwise.
Yeah, now you got to fill in a different number, cross it out, and now your papers, like, it's just easier doing e-signatures too. Who wants to sign all that paperwork?
I know.
You know, like, what one gets missed.
I know.
And they forget to sign one page, the wife does, the husband doesn't, or whatever. Then you got to go back anyway.
Yeah.
So
no, it's
easy.
Way easier. So don't make the same mistake I made for years.
Yeah.
Do the first one in person. I then say do it either Ryan's way or do a Zoom. Do not go back there.
Yeah.
And for the love of God, please hire a stager.
Get somebody in there.
I used to do all my own staging consultations forever.
Yeah.
And I mean, you talk about 2 hours on the first appointment. The second appointment is easily 2 hours. And then, hey, since I'm here, let's just walk through the house and I'll give you all this. Because I never wanted to give the advice until I got the listing.
Yeah, until it's signed.
It's a minimum hour and a half.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, I'm spending 6 hours, 7 hours up front, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, it just isn't working for me anymore. Oh. So I now pay a stager $350.
Yeah.
They're amazing.
Yeah.
They do the same thing I just did, and I don't have to go there.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
And you're not bashing their house.
No.
And telling them where to put stuff.
I would get in so many, like, not even arguments, just like, you know, you're politely going back and forth. Like
that photo.
Like, you know, I understand you liked the red in this room, but like, you know, I did a red wall at one point, like 10 years ago, and then I covered it up too. Yeah. So like, I think you might want to, well, we really like the red for this reason. And I'm like, okay, can I just go? Like, so yeah,
you're getting in a tiff over something.
Oh my gosh.
Like before you've even tried to sell it.
You don't have to do it if you don't want to.
Yeah.
It's up to you, but you know, it may affect the saleability of your home.
I had to tell somebody to take down like a Packer wall, like a shrine of Packer stuff on this wall.
Did it hurt your feelings? Because are you a Packer fan?
Well, I'm like 50-50. I'm kind of like fair weather fan because I've been here half my life.
Yeah.
And I've been Wisconsin half my life.
So right now you're a Packer fan.
And I'm not like a huge advocate of like, I'm not a huge follower of either anyways.
Yeah.
So I'm like, whoever's got the coldest beer, I'm going to go in there.
There you go.
Know?
Yeah.
So but you know, selling in Minnesota, you're like, all right, well, if you have this, some people might like, you know, see it and make fun of it and whatnot. Probably best to take it down with your family photos.
Well, it's like the crucifix or the cross on the wall too.
Yep.
I'm a Christian, right? I got no problem with it, but not everybody is.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, look, you might go on, well, but we really want to leave that up. And it's just let the stager handle these conversations, guys. I'm telling you, like, it is the dumbest thing I ever didn't do. Because I always just thought it was gonna be way too much money to like hire a stager, but it's $350.
Yeah.
And you can probably find cheaper.
It's worth it.
Yeah.
Who do you use, Lionheart, for that? Or?
No, we use, I don't even know if she has a name for the business.
Just the gal?
Susie Passions.
Yeah.
Which is like the greatest name of all time, Susie Passions.
Yeah, that's a good name.
But yeah, I connect her via text. She handles it. She sends me a report afterwards.
Nice.
It's great. There's pictures of all the things crossed out that she's telling them to remove. And I'm like, you might want to do all that.
Yeah, that's sweet.
So, okay. Sorry, I got off on a tangent.
No, that's super helpful. I mean, I try to learn.
Yeah.
You know, I'm learning from you here.
The one step, not for us.
Susie
I like it.
Passions.
Susie Passions, man. Yeah. She's great. Award-winning stager. All right. How about buyer consultations or buyer presentations? Yeah. Overrated, underrated?
Don't do them.
You don't do them?
Nope.
At all?
Nope.
What about moving forward now with our little changes?
We'll see.
We'll see, right?
Yeah, we'll see.
So like someone reaches out to you, they're a first-time home buyer.
Yep.
Never bought a house.
Yep.
What's your process? Like, what do you?
Usually talk to them on the phone.
Yep.
Talk them through the process, see what they're looking for.
One.
Yeah, I'll talk to them on the phone, do a Zoom meeting, you know, meet them, see what their needs
are. So he does one,
I don't do a consultation, but I listen
You just did, you talk to him on Zoom, you talk to him on the phone, see what they're needed.
All right, I guess I do them, guys.
He does one.
I don't do them in person. Okay, yeah. So like listings, always in person. But buyers, I talk to them on the phone, figure out, put together a search, put it on the MLS, you know, put the auto search together for them so they can start seeing properties, you know, send them the affiliated ABA, and, you know,
the 3-base lending one.
Yeah, all that, everything, everything they need to sign.
Oh my God.
Send them that stuff. But then, then, you know, tell them the real estate transaction, talking about the transaction, what my role is as a buyer's agent versus a selling agent and how we get paid and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
And then, then.
So you do one.
Yeah, I guess so.
You just don't have like a in-person sit down, 10 steps of buying a house type of walkthrough.
Mm-mm. No, it's just listen to them, give them advice on that, how I'm going to walk them through the process.
Was it always that way?
Mm-hmm.
Like even when you first started?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's always been phone call, never Zoom back then.
Yeah.
Put together a search, have them text me their email addresses.
Yep.
And then let them, and I always have them just either email me or call me or text me with the addresses they want to see.
Yeah.
Set them up, go see them, put them in a showing cart. I can't believe how many agents don't know how to do showing carts. I can't believe it.
I know.
Like people 5 years in, they're like, what's a showing cart on showing time? And I'm like, the coolest thing ever known to man.
Yeah.
Like it gives you your GPS, your time to every showing. And
did you ever have to because you were in it before showing cart.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, my first year I didn't have it.
MapQuest that thing out, man. Mm-hmm. I had to MapQuest everything out. It was awful.
It was bad.
It was terrible.
It was like, I remember TomToms, the first couple of years.
Yeah.
TomToms. And you wouldn't get the newest software update.
Yeah.
And you'd be like, okay, this is a new construction. There's nothing here.
Yeah.
This map isn't taking me anywhere.
Yeah.
Like it's taking me to Chanhassen, but there's nothing.
Oh my gosh.
It's just a green field that it's taking me to. Like it still happens, but not as much.
Well, now at least you have the GPS coordinates sometimes, where or you can Google it and it will pull up their model home or something. At least you can find it.
If the agent drops a pin in the right spot on the MLS listing,
it's never in the right spot.
Sometimes they drag it to the wrong spot. I just pulled up one yesterday that was townhome that they sold, but the pin was 2 blocks over.
Yep.
And I'm like, that's not where they bought. Like, what is this?
I know.
Throwing me off.
I know.
It's crazy. But showing carts, learn it,
love it, live it.
That deserves a tap on the mic.
Yeah.
Blow out the subs.
Is this thing on?
Yeah.
Showing carts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, but for those listening, I think, as you can hear, there are many different ways to do this job, and again, you're there's probably someone out there who doesn't do a formal buyer presentation and they sell 2 houses, and someone's like, that's your problem.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But then you have someone like Ryan Fischer over here. Dude doesn't do a sit-down buyer presentation. Sells 100 houses a year. So, is it really the problem, or is there something else? I would bet the problem comes back to, are you networking properly? Are you hunting every day? And are you educating yourself, right? I think, that's the industry. The process is how we get there is people will trust you. If you tell them this is the process, they'll be like, okay.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And as long as it is tried and true and it works for you, you don't have to follow this protocol that everybody does or something, You
got to find what works for yourself. And I found that the faster I can get in front of somebody to show them a house as a buyer's agent, the higher the percentage of people I'll win.
Yeah.
So I've got to get them off the sideline looking at houses.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just kind of poke them. Hey, have you seen this one?
Yep.
Bloop. Send it in their inbox. Have you seen this one?
Yep.
This one fits your criteria. Is at a good price? Oh, yeah, but not in our area. Okay, good. I know that's not their area.
Yeah.
So it's just conversations.
I see, dude. That's so smart. And for those of you that are listening, don't miss that little nugget he just dropped, because I say this all the time. People, buyers, don't choose. Well, buyers and sellers, they don't choose an agent, in my opinion. I think what they choose is the agent that brings them the house they're looking for.
True.
You know what I mean?
Or shows them the house they're looking for.
I may be the best fit for Garrett Doobie, but when Ryan Fischer brings him a house and says, hey man, you might want to check this one out, he's going to work with Ryan Fischer no matter how awesome his previous realtor was.
Captain Homefinder coming through. That's it.
But no, that's
the beaver.
That is, dude. That's the beaver mascot just flying through the air, punching me in the face. Pow! And then Garrett and you were hugging and you're carrying him away. But I think that's if I think of anything in my career that is just always true. It's if I bring them a house that matches what they're looking for, they're going to work with you.
Yeah.
That's it. It's done, because you've added value in their life that has changed their life now. You're not just educating them in the market or whatever. It's this, here you go. This changes your life. This is exactly what you're looking for.
Yeah.
Right?
On market, off market.
Yeah.
Doesn't. I mean, however you can get it to them.
Right.
That's huge value.
Like it.
We have
2 more minutes. We're already like way over, and I appreciate your time, and I'm sorry to keep you, but like
okay.
I could talk to you forever.
I don't have any homes to sell today.
No, none.
No, just Garrett.
Yeah. Son of a bee. I'm trying to distract him for at least an hour and a half.
You got your teammates going there right now.
Oh yeah.
Surrounded.
They are surrounded. They have the house surrounded.
I love it.
I'm getting it on the feed right now. Yes, they have it surrounded.
He's got one earphone and coming in one feed, and he's listening to us on the other.
Take him now. Take him. So I like to ask this question, especially someone like you, because you've been in the industry for a while. You're building a team. You see the trends, the good things, the bad things, you know, within the industry, right?
Yep.
So give me from an outside perspective looking in, your thoughts on EXP Realty, where I broker out of. I'm just curious.
Yeah, I think it's come a long way over the last 5 years.
Yeah.
It's become like a no-name company.
Right.
To something that people see on and expect to see on signs nowadays.
Yeah.
I think, I mean, I like the low cost. My whole business is based on low cost.
Yeah.
You know, and so low cost, low fees, all that resonates really well, especially in a market right now that's very tough. Mm-hmm. Tougher to sell houses, tougher to, there's less people moving.
Yeah.
People are locked in with low interest rates. So,
yeah.
I mean, I think brokerage, EXP, Remax, Coldwell Banker, Edina Realty, I think they're all big companies. They all have good brands now, and that's not always been the case for every company in town. It takes time to build that good brand. And now there's some heavy hitters that are doing a great job, like you with EXP. Back when it started or when I first saw it, I was like, I don't know anybody there. Like, they're all selling like 2 houses a year. And now there's some producers there, which I like to see. And so I think that's epic. I think that's huge.
I think you're probably alluding to what I kind of feel. You were listing off some brokerages.
Yeah.
Do you feel that you pick up Ryan Fischer, the pro team, and you just drop them anywhere?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Whether it's Remax, Keller, doesn't matter. Right. Yeah. You just wherever you land at Epic.
Yep.
Something like that.
Just read about them yesterday.
Absolutely. Right. Yeah. You pick your place.
Yeah.
I'm assuming you feel you'd be successful.
I know I'll be successful at any broker.
Right.
Yep.
And that's why I constantly tell and remind people, like, because I don't want to say I was brainwashed, but when you're at one of the big brokers, they do a really good job of like, hey, the brand matters, and it's like, it does to a certain extent, but your clients pick you for you.
Yeah.
They don't pick you because of your company. They don't pick you because of the sign in the yard.
Pick you for your education, your knowledge, your abilities to help them.
And the reason I bring this up is people that are out there, they might be deciding on where they want to go, what they want to do. Here's what I'd say. It doesn't really matter a ton. Yeah. Like, it matters based on your core values.
Yeah.
Don't think that if you go to Remax Results, you're going to sell as many houses as Ryan. Yeah. Or if you go to Edina Realty, you're going to sell as many houses as the top agent there. That's not how it works.
Yeah.
You matter, like how your business is represented.
How hard you work.
Right.
How hard you're going to work at whatever business you're put in.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, if you ever run into a situation where you feel limited by wherever you're at, then you need to look elsewhere. But most brokerages do a good job of at least giving you the basic tools.
Yep.
Wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I see
all you need is E&O insurance.
Yeah.
And some document systems.
Yep.
And some kind of document
some legal contracts somewhere.
Yeah. And then you're okay to operate.
Yeah.
But like, you got to make sure you're given everything you need.
Yeah.
And that's like, everybody's business is a little different.
Yeah.
Like, I never go to the office. It's my storage tank.
Yep.
It's where my signs are.
Yep.
They're all piled up there, like sitting there. I don't go there. But
have you always been that way?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I used to go all the time, and I don't as much anymore.
Yeah. I just never have gone. It's always just been I meet an agent there to recruit them.
Yep.
That's pretty much
it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, I'm like, we have an office. Here's our sold signs.
Here it
is. Soon signs. Here's our, riders. Here's our rewards.
Yep.
It's like that's all that's in there. T-shirts.
Yeah.
Some T-shirts and hats and swag.
It's like your display case.
It is. It's like a large display case.
It's a time capsule.
Yeah. It's. I go there and I'm like, okay, this is our office. I'll be here for an hour.
Yeah.
This week.
I got to go show some houses to Garrett.
Yeah.
I'm out.
Yeah.
No, but I see, being at EXP, I see lots of different, like parody videos and just funny, like whatever. Like there's one where it's like a zombie apocalypse, and there's the 2 guys left in the entire industry that haven't been recruited to EXP yet. And like, I just, from the outside looking in, I just always like to get people's opinion because, that part is pretty important to me, to like not be affiliated with like just a bunch of people that don't sell houses. But I'm glad you mentioned you at least see some producers.
I think the one thing that does hurt people's businesses is being at a brokerage that like is like 1 or 2 people there total. They have no staff, they have no document systems. I see it every day where people start there and they're like, I was recruited by my mom's business.
Right.
It's just her running this, whatever. And they're like, but we had, nobody was calling us off our signs. They're like, they don't even know what you do.
Yeah.
Like at least, Remax, you know what they do. EXP, you know what they do. Coldwell, you know what they do.
Yep.
Like they are selling houses.
Mm-hmm.
They're not like a landlord company.
Right.
Like you see some of those signs, you're like, is that a leasing company?
Yeah. I know.
It's slow. I mean, it slowly hurts you.
The brand does matter to a certain extent.
Yeah.
I 100% agree with you.
They've hit that point where now it's recognized, which I think is huge.
And then I guess the last one I'll end on is, where would you say, out of all the places that you've traveled to, is your favorite and why? And then what's still on, like, what's the number 1 place on your bucket list?
Monaco is my favorite place I've ever been.
Okay.
Most beautiful, like small pebble beaches I've ever seen, like clearest water I've ever seen.
Yeah.
You can see the racetracks kind of going through the city, which is really cool. And
didn't they just have a race there too?
They do every year, I think.
I think it's just like, I'm pretty sure I just saw last night or 2 days ago that for the first time ever, a guy who was born in Monaco just won.
No way.
Yeah. And he was like crying like on the speaker as he crossed. It was pretty cool.
I got to Google it now.
Yeah. I'm pretty.
Yeah.
I think it just happened.
That city is special. If you haven't gone there, you got to go.
We went
for 1 day. We went over from France over to Monaco for a 1-day trip, and it was like way cooler than I ever imagined. Where do I want to go? Brazil. We're going there this year.
Okay.
In November.
What makes you like want to go to Brazil?
I think I'm a beach guy.
Yeah.
I think I just like seeing beaches.
Yeah.
And like restaurants on the beach.
I love restaurants.
Food
on
on
the beach.
Water.
Yes.
Like anything with water. Hence,
we're the same.
Yeah.
We're the same.
Like it's a chill environment.
Yes.
Like I'm not there to see statues. I'm not there to see the Monet paintings.
Yeah.
I'm not there. I'm there for like seeing how amazing and tranquil it is with like the restaurants and the
really cool like entertainment, then like some badass real estate usually.
Yep.
Nearby.
Yes. Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's next.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never been to Monaco. I've never been to Europe, so I'm very excited one of these days to get over there. We're talking about bringing the kids over there for like a homeschool month.
Oh, interesting. You got to do it.
Study abroad.
Yeah, Italy and France. It's very cool.
That's on the top of my list, man.
Yeah, we have been to France twice. Love it. Yeah.
One of these days I'll be as cool as you.
No, way cooler. Way cooler.
I don't know. I'll keep trying. I got to work on my thumbs up.
Saw that coming.
I can't wait for a selfie after this.
Oh, I love it.
But all right. Well, I appreciate your time, sir. Man, there's so much more that we could get into, I'm sure, and maybe we will in a part 2 someday. But for those of you that have been listening for the last hour and a half,
wow, I thought that was like 15 minutes.
Get a life, No, but honestly, appreciate you guys, and hopefully you learned something. Ryan and I are open books. Reach out anytime. We're here to help. We're just 2 simple dudes that like to play on the lake and give the thumbs up. That's what we do.
That's it.
So we're not, not anything crazy special. Just, I think we both work very, very hard, and there's no substitute for that. Yeah. But if anybody out there has any other questions, reach out. If you know anybody that might be a good guest on here that is doing something great in their business, please send them my way. I'd love to feature them and have them give us all their secrets so that we can all get better. But with that being said, thanks again, Ryan. Appreciate you being here, buddy.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
And I'll see everybody on the next episode of the Level Up Podcast.
Nice.
See ya.